Probably.
But like the idea is that like because we don't know
We
like
don't know if he's 50-50. He's both alive and
until
dead.
we observe it, it's not. It's yeah.
I get what they're going for. I do. And as soon as I said, like, I was listening to a podcast on quantum physics, I felt like one of those guys on that subreddit, like, I am very smart. It's like, let me clarify. I was lost as shit. And you should be, too. Also, I activated the war chest extension. So if you haven't maxed out your war chest experience points, you get war chest experience points now that I'm loading up StarCraft.
Huh. I don't have the war chest. Is the only problem with that.
Ooh. I mean, I don't blame you. It's
After the war
money.
chest goes away, am I still able to get the building skins?
Yes and no.
'Cause I actually kind of want those.
Yes and no. So the last war chest skins they eventually put on the store, but they were more expensive, and it did take a long time. Season 15, groups B and C. Let's go ahead and get all the updates going.
Damn it! Am I gonna play StarCraft today?
I mean,
That's gonna happen.
all you don't if you buy it, all you gotta do is watch StarCraft. You don't even have to play it.
Yeah,
We're bringing you
CL's
StarCraft content.
starting soon, and I kind of want to play in that. But at the
Kinda.
same time, like coming back to StarCraft after a break feels awful.
Sure. Sure, I can see that. It took me a whole day. I spent a whole day losing. Absolutely losing. Let me go ahead and post an announcements here. Let me get this going. Let's see. Do I have my, yeah, it is. At here. We're going to get into groups B and C of the All-Invitational live now. Yeah, of course I want to send it to everybody. That's why I have powers. Powers to be.
Oh boy, I got a ping.
Right? Look at that.
Wow, they're gonna get into groups B and C of the All-Invitational live now.
Look at that, man. Imagine, Matt, where can you find that stream at? Yeah.
Oh, www.twitch.tv/uncommon_gaming.
What? That's us. That's me.
Whoa.
What? Aw. Oh, shucks. All right, okay. So let's see. Whole chat interface flips over. That's good. We got my banter section. We'll give this a few minutes, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna refresh my coffee, and then we're gonna get into the first set of games, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a. Let's just look into this. A Group B, a little bit of a read ahead here. Tool versus Mannix will be the first fight, followed by Purge versus Exile. That's Group B. Let's just do Hippo Information Night. I'll read Hippo Facts. Can I subscribe to Hippo Facts? That being said, absolutely be right back. Hey, Cyrix, thanks for hanging out. I am gonna drop out of here though.
I figured you would. See you later.
Later. All right, hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nerds and nerdettes, StarCraft players and losers, because you can only be one or the other. We're here now with the All-Invitational Group B, Group Bravo. And I got a whole replay folder full of stuff here. The first game we're going to look into is Tool versus Mannix. Mannix and Tool, best of 3. Game number 1 takes place on Kairos Junction. I think these are old, so we're going to have to go in and out. So in between games, yeah, it's going to be a little bit. It's going to disconnect me each time. That's fine. We're used to it here. How's everybody doing today? Shout out to Shazampu for putting this awesome tournament together. Keeping track of it. Organizing it, the mass chaos it is. I hit this button. I don't know if I hit this button if there's going to be pizza pie stuff on it or not. Aha! Oop. All right, let's go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, first match of the day. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Kairos Junction, the purple Protoss, representing all inspiration, it is Tool. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Protoss, representing all inspiration, it is Mannix. I love me some ZVP. I've been doing a lot of it lately. I say a lot of it by I've been doing my build order a lot and bashing my face in against non-Protoss players to some success, luckily enough. And almost literal bashing of banelings against the front wall. That's it. That's my build order. If you're Protoss, if you're anything right now in the next couple weeks and you play against me, expect banelings, expect them busted against your wall. But over here, we get the pylon, right? We get that first gateway coming up. We get a little bit of a scout. So this information here, he knows what's coming. He knows the hatches first. He's got a little bit of time. We should see an expansion coming soon for the Protoss, unless he's got a little bit of something off meta. He's got something special prepared for us here. Mannix is going to sit over here in the third base. He's going to keep an eye out for this expansion. And really, the second base expansion, something the Zerg's always going to get this matchup. But that third base is telling, right? Third base is standard around 20 supply for the Zerg here. Maybe as late as 30, but if you start seeing a lack of a third base around the 30 supply mark, you know you have something to prepare for. And he's probably going to bring that probe back up soon after, there's time to, after the gas has been collected, get a count for how many drones are still in the gas. He's going to want to know, is there a baneling nest? Is he transitioning to something else? But this is a good place to park this probe to gather information. We do see the Nexus in production over here. It's no immediate threat. He's got a little bit of time to get the wall off. He's got the cybernetics core going. It's always a decision of, do I Nexus or do I shield battery and extra gateways, right? Is there something coming? Do I have to be worried? We do have the first set of lings out now, and it does look like the drone's going to attempt to expand. The probe's going to be here. He's going to spot that. He's going to be able to prevent a little bit of a, not even a drone war. See how long before he realizes he has it. There he goes. And we got the hold position probe there. Going to sacrifice his life. Have to delay that third base just a little bit. Down goes the probe. Speed now halfway done. An extra queen now. He's got his creep queen. Did the first inject. He's coming over here to spread some creep. Get that moving. And it looks like he's macroing. Oh, I say macro. 6 more lings on the way. This first overlord getting the full scout in the main base. Trying to get over here. See if there's anything hiding in the back of the natural. He's not going to see anything particularly special. This is the pylon where you'd want to put... Oh, actually, sorry, this pylon, where you want to put that next thing. Is going to be a robotics facility into a Twilight Council here from Mannix. Interesting choice. He's teching up right now. And behind this, we're getting lings. We're getting a handful of lings. We don't have a baneling nest, so maybe not a ling flood. Nothing Next couple things he creates will be telling, but we are getting a lot of overlords right now. Whether or not he's tired of being supply blocked. Oh, well, he is supply. Excuse me, he is supply blocked from that one overlord dropping. So he throws out a boost of him, gets at the 52 supply. Next couple larvae he spends will tell us a little bit. And it looks like it is 6 more lings followed by 5 more drones. So he wants a ling presence on the board, but he's not committing all in. I love this. I love that he's parking lings over here, getting vision, even, bruised lings, get him out of the fight, getting another overlord here on the other side of the map. Excellent play here by Tool. Over here, taking a look at of Mannix. He's got the robotics facility, he's got Twilight Council, and we're getting a gateway explosion now. We're starting to up the number of gateways here. We got Adepts and Stalkers blocking the wall. Adepts are great on this side against the Ling Flood. We even have that nice mix and match Protoss buildings that most of us are stuck with in the middle of this wonderful war chest. Alright, so we get the first unit out is the Observer. He's going to get out. He's a great information gatherer. As long as there's no spores or detection over here, he's going to get a full scout of the base. And we got a Roach Warren coming down for Tool here. Alright. Glancing around at things going. We got 4 gateways now up and operational. Nothing else coming out of the robotics facility. Out of here for Mannix. And it looks like he's macroing up. We have more probes coming. There's that first Immortal. Make sure that you want to make sure that rally point changes. Taking a quick gander at what the Observer sees. Queen's now moving. And the Roach Warren complete. Handful of Roaches in production. Roach speed on the way. More Queens. On the other side, we're getting forwards. He's starting to tech up. It seems like he's got a plan. Taking a look at the gateway. He's powering up with the Immortals. Powering up with Immortal Adept. Potential for Archons. It's kind of just shaping up quite carefully. Now, concerning is he's not expanding. It looks like he maybe was considering securing a 3rd base, but, he's just putting down the temporal archives. There we go. We're putting down another robotics facility. It looks like he's gearing up for a push, a very strong 2-base push. More gateways coming down here. There's that gateway. I keep saying the word gateway explosion. There's my word of the day. There it is. That's poor Immortal. He was rallied all the way to the other side, and there was a mistake that was not caught. Let's see if he notices it. There we go. It found its home. That's an unfortunate loss of an Immortal. Tool again, supply blocked, but 91 to 90 to 60 supply here. That's the power of Roaches. Inefficient, but still a strong force, and something that would be very hard to contend with if he was bashing down the door right now. But both these players relaxing back at home, powering up. They just want to bash their favorite armies together at the end. Mannix over here still with the Observer, unseen, unspotted, getting that +1 for the Roaches, getting Zealot legs and Storm over here for the Protoss. Depending on, let's take a quick look at the drone count. So the drones never quite got up to pace on the 3rd base. We are maxed out on 2 bases, a little oversaturated. Hadn't pulled yet into the gas over here, so not the biggest army he can have. This isn't a fast Roach max out. His opportunity to attack was probably a minute ago, and the longer this game goes now, the longer he sits, not fully utilizing his Queens for his creep spread and the drones here. It's going to be a harder push, just because there is a way to get the 200 supply in about 40 more seconds. So you can tell in between kind of the supply blocks and the macro there, it's this indecisive, like, drones or army, and he's going back and forth between the two because there is a constant threat. We do get a little bit of a move out to the north here from Tool. He's coming in. Still an army that has to be respected. Neither one of them have a game-ending finish here, but what he really wants to try to do here is poke and get away. He wants to cancel this base. This 3rd base, Protoss hasn't been sitting on for a while. He hasn't had one mining. The economy a little behind. He might get the cancel. Depending on his choices, he actually gets the kill. That's 400 minerals, but at the loss of what here? Several Ravengers going down here. These Zealots still charging behind. They are going to turn around. The Tool's going to turn around and clean those up. He's going to clean it up. Maybe the Zealots actually doing massive amounts of damage here. +1 versus +1. The army sitting up here on the top of Ling Hydra coming to clean that up. Now, not a bad sacrifice there. you got Ling Hydra on the back ready to answer it, but this force base now looks like it's going to have some Zealot pressure. I love this. Zealot's coming from the bottom. They should get the cancel on this, or it gets canceled on the fourth base. Tool's forced to answer this, pulls his army down here, take care of these Zealots. Gets that third base saturated now. He's got some, if he can hold on to these bases, if he can get this thing to finish, he'll be in a good position. I'm not sure if that was worth the cancel, but better than to let it get it. Better than not to risk it and, get that restart, get your minerals back. He did, get the kill over here in the Nexus. That's a great pickoff. And you look at that supply, 146 to 97. This is the power of Roach Ravager, but it's slowly becoming the power, of Hydra Ling. A lot of gateways now, though, for Mannix. He's gearing up with lots of Immortals. As this Immortal count gets higher and higher, this becomes an incredibly scary force to have to deal with here. Archons, Immortals, Zealots. He's building up to an ideal Protoss army. We have these Queens now. I love the army of Queens. So much energy. I would love to see them, expanding this creep in other directions. But the pressure he must be on at the moment, trying to macro up. He knows that there's a scary Protoss army here on the other side of the map, about to knock down his door. There we go. You can see it. He's feeling it. He wants to cover the backside from drops and prisms. He's putting down the spine crawlers, the spore crawlers. His army is right here in the most deployable location via the creep highway. And there we go, spreading creep. Getting that nice creep spread all the way down south. It looks like he wants to take the bases straight up and down. Here's that warp prism we haven't seen yet. But, actually, probably where the Zealots came from. Excuse me. I just missed it. We've seen it. On the other side of the map, doing the same, getting some photon cannons and some key positions to protect kind of that technology base. A lot of technology, a lot of very expensive buildings over here. You don't want to get caught off guard when you're moving across the map here by run-bys. Getting the Changeling, good spot there. As the Observer sits nice and protected, not only with invisibility, but also on the high ground. Queen's moving around, getting injects, getting creep spread. I love the 4 spine crawlers here. Yeah, at the bottom base. It's a very vulnerable location. It does look like there's a move out tool getting in position here in the top. Love the shark emotes, guys. Who is that? Let me mouse it over. It's Rise. I love it. Bunny Willis and Mannix and Pure with the very happy shark. It makes me want to subscribe to the guy, get my own shark emote. Tearing down these walls over here. Handful of lurkers. Lurkers change this game very significantly, but he can't take this engagement right away. He's got to get the lurkers in. There's the storm going down, and this is, if he can move these forward like siege tanks or like lurkers, this can become a veritable dead zone. Oh, a little too far here. Lurkers getting picked off before they have a chance to set in. You kind of want to leapfrog them a little bit at a time. Queen's coming to join the game, actually. Leap a little bit at a time and moving them forward. No, he will lose those. And, back here, there was an Overlord drop here with roaches. This is that valuable technology. Actually pulled the army out of position. Gets the Templar Archives, gets the Twilight Council. Almost gets the Twilight Council. He's just got to pay a little bit of attention. But we have a fight over here. Lurkers underground being walked into, but also being taken care of. Trying to morph more in the middle of this fight. Looked like a little bit of Protoss favored trade, but he is forced to back out. Take a quick look over here. Yes, the Twilight Council was taken down. That's a set of tech trees. It's going to take a little bit to reset, and it's going to cost a lot when you need to be producing, the army units. And here we go again. Tool actually trying to sneak in again another long-distance lurker burrow. Now, great positioning here. If he can get these lurkers in, he's in a much better position to force the issue. But, this, he needs vision, right? So we have this grass here. It's going to prevent getting the hits he would normally be getting right now. He needs to get maybe an Overseer in a position on the high ground here. And as he does, he moves the Overseers forward. Ooh, the Lurker's right on the other side in a rough position. He does have vision as the Overlords move a little closer. Mannix here saying, I don't think you guys realize how stressed I was the entire time. No, I understand. Lurkers are a very difficult thing to try to move into here. And he'll get a couple of great storms, excellent storms, disgusting storms here as Protoss starts pushing a win button as he's going to push back that army, absolutely decimating These units, Hydralisk caught out of position. The army split up. Is the pure number of immortals here. 8 immortals on the field. What's this? 2 Archons in this fight, and shield battery backups. Mannix does an excellent job of just absolutely denying this. Now, taking a quick look now, it's going to be about economy. It's going to be about economy, and this absolutely defeated run by. There's no way these spine crawlers, these queens don't handle this right off the bat. But we'll see. We have some extra drones that are being pulled out right now, as that's going to clean that right up. So taking a quick look economically, we have 1 fully saturated base, 1 new 5th base over here. Interesting that it expanded downwards again when there was still a really good base, here and up here. He could try to start claiming that territory, but it does look like they do want to split straight up and down. Take a quick look at the upgrades. It is 2-1 for Tool. It is 3-0 for Mannix. Looks like he's trying to clean up these dropper lords that were left over here. And interesting enough, Mannix could just warp in a couple of zealots and take care of this. He's got the warp prism completely free there. Large number of spine crawlers are going to prevent any kind of zealot run by. It does look like Tool, he sees that he's maxed out. He's got nowhere else to go in supply. So drones turned into crawlers, free supply, free defenses. And he can maneuver these around wherever he needs to. Lurkers in position. Actually, really, this is not the place he wants Mannix to fight here. This is not the place Mannix wants to go, right? He's even got drones to spare. So they're all coming down here and should be transferred over there. Again, this Warp Prism just letting this happen right now. Very, very, he's just staring at it like, I dare you to finish. Protoss, though, on a 4th base now as a Ling run by him, as the doors are wide open. Ooh, actually, that was a hole. There are several pylons here that are very open to attack as these Lings get right in on these warped on zealots. The army having to move through and funnel upstairs, being a little indecisive with the movement. Actually, none of the pylons focused down. But a lot of probes, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of probes focused down here. As he does clean that up. Ooh, actually a lot of bruised probes, so maybe not getting the kind of probe damage I thought he was getting. Mannix looking better and better as he closes in on max out. This composition. The only thing I think he really has to worry about is a good, switch in the mutas with this many units that don't shoot up. Warping at a lot of zealots, eating up a lot of supply, starting that Templar archives again, trying to get his tech tree back together. I love the fleet beacon. I love that we're growing Templars, so we can talk about not being able to handle a muta switch. It's almost like right on time here. Is the Spire is being mutated now. Got a handful of words are hard. Corruptors coming out. But we do have a huge move out over here. Mannix looking at the ramp. He's looking at the 3rd and 4th base. This is the area to contest. You want to really choke out the life of the Zerg. We have some drones that need to be pulled over. We actually have a lot of spines being created, but he's walking right into the Lurkers. Army there or not, that's a dangerous thing to push into. But then again, they aren't supported. Actually, there's no observer. They're just taking these shots. I mean, they're going to get the base, but they're just taking the Lurker shots right now. And maybe there was an observer in the beginning because these are definitely bruised. But the Spore Crawlers and the Spine Crawlers, cleared up that game. Lurker's not in position up here, but still kind of poking around from the back here. Walking into the 3rd base, Mannix gets to 4th base, and there's just not enough here to answer the answer to all these immortals as they melt through everything. Down here, up here, the army of Tool, a little distracted by some forces chasing him around. He didn't have a chance to make this in any kind of base trade, but his economy is gone. He has maybe 1 whole base between everything he's got here. He's pulling in half the minerals now of Mannix. And it does look like, though, he is going to put down some damage on this army, but it's going to be painful. This is a very painful fight to engage in. Looks like the Corruptors have been all turned into Broodlords. We don't have anything to immediately answer the Tempest. They're going to be recalled back. Another round of Zealots getting cleaned up here. A little bit of bile. A little bit of friendly fire here. And we have a Broodlord fight. We have a Broodlord finish here as we're shifting into this late game, this 18-minute opening game. We might just get Group B. I'll tell you, if we only get Group B, or we don't finish all the groups, we will be coming back after the pizza pie and we'll finish Group C. We will not shortcut any of these games. No speed up button for me, ladies and gentlemen. These Tempest, chipping away at these Ravagers. This is really, really late game Ravagers. Normally you like to transition out of him by now, but if he's getting his money out of him, more power to him. As right now the production for the Protoss is Tempest and, well, Tempest. A couple High Templar here dropping some massive storms. Really changed that game. Push out the Protoss. And that is, that's eight really medium to high energy Templars down here. It's going to be a very difficult thing to engage into. He's got to protect these Broodlords. He's got to find the right angle. But on the other end, Mannix, he's also having trouble securing that economy. The Zerg here expanding again in another direction. Now they're going to be contesting this top corner as they both kind of expand into it. Taking a quick look here. Mannix securing the expansion, trying to shift into air toss, but the money, it's not there. The gas, he's got a nice gas bank, but he does not have the mineral count he needs. Oversaturated on his third base. He's way oversaturated on his natural. He's got room for 2, and he's got 11 on it. The gas is mined out. And almost all his locations. He does have a little bit of a gas bank. On the other end, his opponent equally is broke. Every unit so precious, so precious. Take a sip of coffee here. Oh, fortunately for me, that thing is hot still. That's good coffee. Nothing special about it. Just good coffee. All coffee's good coffee. All right. Ling run by, attempting to get something done. He's going to find the majority of the force, and if he pulls it away now, he might still be able to get some damage done elsewhere. A little bit of an auto-pathing there. As he does get into the probes, he'll be able to do a little bit of damage here. He uses the stop command. They try to maximize his damage. Unfortunately, it's an old replay. Can't open this up. With the mod, they give you that probe count, but there's definitely some damage and some missing probes on that base now. And really needs to get this base secured and mining to maximum potential. He really should be expanding up here as well. This is an economy game at this point. Neither one of them with the capacity to replace their armies. They really have to find and fight their way tooth and nail for these last 2 expansions up here, and maybe even start moving into the middle. But right now, Mannix really pulling out all the stops here, pulling in the Archons, pulling in the Templars. Really, they have just prevented each other from getting into anything too incredibly late game. He kind of played this economic stalemate. They've hurt each other, and he's having a hard time re-expanding down here to these bases. I say hard time. It's here now. It's very vulnerable. All the defenses are in the north, but it's what he needs to do. He needs to be popping bases everywhere he can pop a base right now. Both players kind of sitting back, trying to get back into a dominating position. You can see their mineral growth now over 1,300 each of them, when we were sitting well under 800 a minute ago. So they're both getting into a good micro position. This one zealot over here going to pull so much of the army. Little tips and tricks like that at this level, sending a zealot to the bottom, to the top, really trying to pull your opponent apart. This one zealot, these poor drones, trying to get something done. We are on upgrade wise, we are, what's this, 2-1 or 3-2 and 3-2 for both of them. Both neck, exactly the same in their upgrades. But the army composition, the complexity, and the tech here really supports Mannix. We're starting to get out carriers, and that's a very difficult thing to deal with. First carrier's out, another one's on the way, +1 airs going. He's expanding again to the top. Mannix, he's definitely doesn't have the army count, but Tool is kind of sitting back and letting him recover. We do have a good push over here. Tool's coming in from the bottom. There's nothing here to defend this. It will force a recall if he continues, but it looks like he was just scouting for it. Oh, the movement and the attack over here. Our Archon's moving in. Tempest and carriers, storms going down. So much of the army out of position here. These Broodlords can't stand alone. Spore Crawlers working their little hearts off here, trying to take out the Interceptors, firing at whatever they're going to fire at. The Lings running into the storms, and Mannix, a very big threat. But the rest of the army shows up. A good number of Hydralisks, into the fight now. This might be the final engagement. The storms start going down. The few High Templar left on the field trying to get what they can done out of this with the auto attack now, throwing down little bits of damage on the side. Another storm going down. That storm is such money, but the army supply count, this is it. It looks good, but these units, these Templar, there's nothing left on the field. That being said, most of the army supply count for Tool is heavily bruised. There are 3 Templars left, and he's forced to run back because he doesn't. There we go. The reinforcements show up. Spore Crawler's trying to bed in here, and it looks like it's a Tempest game. Nothing but their unit count: 3 Tempest, 5 Tempest on the field here, and I don't think Tool knows it. This is an A move victory for these very slow moving Tempests. Base trade this, get out there, start fighting. But that was enough to put Tool again sitting back here. He's waiting. He's waiting until he feels comfortable. It's very hard to feel comfortable when there's Tempest on the field. Manix here says, I brought Tool down to my level. You want to fight a plat player? You will fight like one too. This is definitely Tool's game to throw here. He's got the advantage in income. He's got more than double the army count, but the Tempests are they're putting the fear of God into him. As he sits back here, recollecting, trying to find the right composition to throw into this. And really, that was on Manix. He fought into the ideal situation for Tool. He fought into the Spore Crawlers. He was in a right position for a moment when the army wasn't there, but as soon as it came in, that's the time to pull back. Now, Tempest matching into this, running right into the Hydralisk. Hydralisk being forced out by the Tempest and the Storm. And Tool, again, he's retreating. He didn't get the damage done up there that he wanted to do. Love the Sharks, boys. Rise, Smiley Shark. Taking a good look at this army. Zoom right in. This is the army that put the fear into Tool here. A lot of Tempests. I mean, just small numbers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tempests are scary, but there's 5 of them. There's always this one. Wait a minute. Let me jump in the chat real quick. That's the face, boys. Come on. That's what that face says. All right. Come back in here. Get a couple Zealots. Zealots are a great way to push back those Hydralisks to let the Tempest get more shots in before being any target of direct offense here. Manix, playing really smart. He's taking some good engagements. Even with his low army count, he at a minimum he's keeping Tool afraid. He's keeping Tool pushed back. And this is it. This is the conflict. We have such a defense down here. We are going to challenge that defense zone with a good old Zealot Warp in. As a Corruptor comes over here, going to target that Warp Prism, put some damage down, and there's actually just not enough Spine Crawlers. A lot of Spore Crawlers, but not enough on the ground here to contest this. And this is a good source of middle income. These Lings coming in, he pulls the whole army away. Even the Broodlord's trying to catch up to the fight down south. Absolutely devastated by the entire army of Manix. You've got to love this 1-2 punch here. Manix throws 5 or 6 Zealots, pulls an overreaction out of his opponent, and then gets his primary mining base up here. Actually, didn't even successfully clean up the one down here as these Zealots still poking away. Tool actually forcing himself into the middle of the map, recollecting himself, trying to figure out what to do next. As Manix is just becoming a bigger and bigger threat. He's now 3-3 with +1 in the air. He's now going into shields, shield tech here. As Manix, I feel like he's sitting back and he's just trying to come up with an answer. He didn't know that he has the answer, or doesn't know that he has the answer. It's this mobility. He's got it. These Tempests very slow moving, although they're moving a lot faster than I remember them moving before. Not quite as slow as Broodlords, at least. We get another round of Warp Ends as this Warp Prism hangs out with the army, moving a new mining base closer to the center of the map, the front the frontal area here, a couple queens to support it. And this army, even sitting back here, you know, not in the front line, not going to be the first line of defense if something were to come up this way. You know, simple. Oh, here we go. We do have a drop coming in. It is scheduled to depart now. And if Mannix doesn't catch it, oh, if he catches this, that's massive. Can't tell if he can see it. He's almost moving as if he can. He kind of pulls back here into a more defensive position. It does look like the majority of the army. Now look at this Tool doing the exact same thing we just saw. Mannix tried to do 1-2 punch. He comes up here to the top. He's trying to start a fight here in the top right-hand corner, doing a little bit of damage. He's got some time now before the rest of the army catches up, and we have a drop getting in position here in the bottom of the screen. Now they turn around, and we're kind of fighting up a ramp. He needs to find a good concave here. He had a little bit of time to get in position, but it does look like he's backing away into a corner. This whole fight here, Mannix, he wants this fight. He has everything he wants in this exact moment. He's backed him into a corner. He's got the storms going down. It's brutal. It's disgusting. Down here we have Lings on a counterattack. But Duel's decimated. The majority of his army gone. These Lings are just spending their time on cannons, which makes him a very smart move for Mannix, just covering this entire side with cannons. Nothing of any importance was taking out. The Lings focused on the things that were hitting him, took priority on cannons, and now this is Mannix's game to either clean up or lose. So we hit the 30-minute mark. These two fantastic players. Tool here refusing to tap out. He says, I haven't had an answer yet, but I have an answer now, and it's 5 roaches. The roaches enter the battlefield here. Oh, and Fester, you know, getting one of the Tempests, actually putting some damage down. There's the tap out, and Mannix takes game number 1. Oh boy. Yeah, so we're not going to get to Group C today. Well, we probably will. We're not going to get to Group C before the pizza pie. It does look like we will do the All-Invitational Group B, as much of it as I can get done, and we'll resume after the pizza pie. So, quit out of this, load up the next game. That was great. Y'all are fantastic. Thank you for submitting some fantastic games here for the TAI. Mannix said, he's D2. Come on, man. I'm Platinum 3 and he's D2. He's scary. And you did a fantastic job of scaring the poo out of him. Tool sat in his base, poo in his pants for a little bit there. Let's see what he does in game number 2. You know, can he come back? Can he claim his MMR title? His greater MMR title? I did go in, and unlike last time, yeah, definitely good game, guys. Absolutely good games. Thank you for playing. And more props to Mannix, because a lot of people dodge these tournaments when they don't feel like they're up to snuff. But you're coming in here Platinum 3, dude, awesome. This is how you get better. So anyway, I was saying I went in and everything has a game 3. So just because you're seeing a game 3 here doesn't mean we know who's won or lost. I have even forgotten which games I've renamed and added as game 3s. So it will be a bit of a surprise for me too. So we're gonna go ahead and get into game number 2. Hit this watch solo button. I hit cancel. Can I watch with mod on an old replay? No, I can't. Okay. Let's go. Let's go into this. Let's get into game number 2. Series 1, the All-Invitational, Season 15, Group B. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left-hand corner of Port Alexander, the purple Zerg, it is Tool. His opponent, in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Protoss, it is Mannix taking an absolutely fantastic game from Tool, snatching as the underdog, snatching that first game, puts him in a fantastic position here to take this best of 3. He's got to lose twice in a row. That's anything from 2 cannon rush attempts to zealot all-ins. He can now be a little bit more unpredictable. He doesn't necessarily have to play a safe, this match or the next one. His opponent, opting for that safe hatch first, drops it at 16, prevents the pylon block, which, Zergs love getting pylon blocked. It's one of our favorite parts of the game. So Protoss, if you would continue to do that for us, it really keeps us on our toes, keeps us alive. We love it. It's what we live for. So nice ZVP. He gets Mannix knows now he can expand. He can take a moment. There's nothing coming at the 12 pool speed. And that wall's still got to be a priority. Now last time he left a gap on the bottom left hand side of it. So while he put his units here, there was still a gap down here. So let's see if we get a better wall this time. Oh man, is that? Yeah, I didn't notice it either, Mannix, until he started flooding in on the top and the bottom. So, hey, what happens? Happens to the best of us. We'll say, I don't know if this is a habit, but this probe could probably mine a couple more minerals while this makes. But I'm not sure if you're looking for feedback here. I try not to do feedback. Come off as a know-it-all and a little pompous, but we do have that first set of links coming out here for Tool. Keeps him in position, ready for an Adept. First thing coming out of here is going to be the Adept. So we should be getting another building soon. Ooh, there it is. There's that quick expansion. Tool dropping it down between the 20 and 30 mark, getting it a little faster than last time. Not having to deal with a probe setting in his way. So actually a little bit more time now for Mannix to get his wall up, to get his tech choice going. But it looks like before he finishes his wall, he's slowing down to Stargate and Twilight Council, which is absolutely fortunate for him that there's not a Ling Flood walking his way. In fact, this is a build order. Such build order luck here is he's going roaches. I would say build order luck. Roaches don't shoot up, but not everything coming out of Stargate is going to help against roaches. So don't let me get ahead of myself. What we are saying, though, is I would love to see a Void Ray. I would love it. I'm rooting for the underdog. I'm have to be a little biased here. I want to see like a Void Ray come out of here and just Void Ray Zealot legs. Yeah. Now, okay. Looks we are getting a Zealot push, and we are getting that second gateway down. We have the double Adepts, but not a lot of scouting going on here. So he doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't know that. There's roaches, going to be knocking down his door I'd say relatively soon, but this isn't really an aggressive timing. We're still seeing drones coming out, just a safe number of roaches. He doesn't have a layer yet, so he's not pushing the roach speed he would really need to be effective out on the other side. So the most dangerous thing that Mannix can do is leave this side of the map alone. I would love to see some Adepts, kind of, even some sacrificial Adepts coming in, getting some information, trying to get a couple drones popped off. With that being said, that's usually only very dangerous when the Zerg kind of macros up super heavy. Instead, what we're getting out of Tool right now is a little bit of mix of army and drones. He's kind of splitting the difference here, which means he can put on a little pressure and then hopefully follow behind it and macro up a bunch. We did see it last game. He kind of sat on a low drone count, and with an ineffectively sized army, he was kind of playing around the other side of the map. Now we do have the first unit out. The Phoenix is poking around. He's going to clear out some Overlords, and there are some Overlords in some very vulnerable positions. You can already see one kind of running away, hoping to keep an eye out, spotting that third base location. First set of links come up, and there are enough depths to take care of this. And the Ravengers now in position to throw down a couple of good biles, putting some good damage down and actually taking out 3 Adepts here. A very dangerous position as each of these Ravengers eliminating all of the Adepts that were sitting there in a nice little cluster for the biles. It's going to force a drone pool out of the natural base. All the mining now stops from that location. And these roaches just kind of free to make decisions. What are they going to do? What do they want to destroy now? Nothing down here to contest them. It's actually odd choice here, going for a double Oracle. Void Ray puts an end to this, pushes that back a bit. He does have a wall back here. Looks like he is going to let everything go down at the bottom, but these Oracles not going to do a lot. To the Ravagers. I mean, Ling's not a bad call if you got enough of them dealing with a Ling Flood, and that is, I guess, kind of the units that are going to push us away. And actually, you know what? Tool doesn't want to have that fight. He says, I get it. You have some units I can't take out, but they're limited energy. Gonna run out soon. The Ling Flood looks like it's going to be enough, and I think this is the end of the beginning of the end of game number 2 here, as the Ravager count, the Ling count, just too much. We had a lot of minerals in pylons that were forced to be thrown down as a wall here, just to cover the supply cost. We have some. If he can kind of play the bottom here and push them away, we might have time for cannons to finish. But it looks like nope. Looks like Tool's going to come up right here. He's throwing down the biles. Biles going down to the pylons. The already really low supply count. There's the GG. Mannix taps out, and Tool takes game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right in to game number 3. I had the play button on some music. My boo dance, guys. Woo! GG. GG. Tool says, you know what? I don't want to play a long game with you anymore. I don't want to worry about Tempest. Screw it. I'm going in. He went Ravengers in. He went Link flooded in as soon as he saw an opening. Excellent play there by Tool. Way to clean that up. Man, you must have some crazy APM to be on Twitch and in the game. Oh, man. Let's, right, I hit quit button. Here we go. That button. Brain fart. So back into StarCraft. Let's get ourselves into game number 3. We got some Sublime with Rome by MC Lars coming through on the Zombie Dinosaur LP. I actually like MC Lars. I didn't know he had an instrumental on here. Or maybe just an instrumental version of his stuff. So we're going to get into game number 3 now. Group B of the All-Invitational. Match number 1. It's between Mannix and Tool. Best of 3. The final game is going to be on Blue Shift. By the way, if Tech 4 or who is his opponent? Tech 4 or his opponent are here from Group C. If you could PM me and let me know which maps are games 1, 2, and 3. That would help me out a lot. I would hate to play those in the wrong order. All right. All right. You're in the right place, John. Don't worry about it. I'll explain in a second. But starting off in the top right-hand corner, Blue Shift, the Purple Zerg, representing All Inspiration, it is Tool. In the bottom left-hand corner, the Blue Protoss, representing All Inspiration, it is Mannix. Game number 3, the first one was a long, soul-crushing defeat as Mannix rolled over him with the Tempest. The second was a quick bust of Ravengers and Lings as Tool took game number 2, and we are sitting now on the match that decides on who goes to the winner's match, who goes to the loser match of this GSL style tournament, and it's anybody's game. So what we're doing now is we are doing the All-Invitational for the time I have. And once 4 o'clock rolls around, we'll be shifting over to the Pizza Pie Season 1, Tournament 1, the new big old fancy prize pool. Let me get actually, while I sit here, let me get you a Matcherino link, guys. Because if you haven't yet, the code PizzaPie1 will add 50 cents to the prize pool for the Pizza Pie. So yeah, at 4 o'clock we'll switch over to the pizza pie, and then we'll come back and we'll finish off the All-Invitational. It's a day absolutely full of StarCraft. All right, who is my money on? I feel like Tool finds himself in the strongest positions in the game. Even the one he lost, Tool spent most of his time in a dominant position, but he didn't know it. If he's got back his confidence, my money is on Tool. I'm rooting for Mannix, but my money's on Tool. By the way, by watching this stream, you are actually earning War Chest experience points. So, as long as you can connect your Battle.net account to your Twitch account, I have enabled the extension that's going to earn all of you some fantastic War Chest experience points. So, just kind of a, thank you for hanging out. The least I could do is enable that add-on. As we are a nice small community, I'm glad we stick together. I think Zerg wins on the skin button, by the way. If you haven't, if you don't play Zerg, now's a good time to switch. We have the nice mechanical Zerg skins. You can't beat them. They're gorgeous. Taking a quick look around. Kind of a very similar start to the last time. He is going for a robotics facility immediately followed by the Twilight Council before finishing off the wall. And I don't know enough whether or not to say that's standard for Protoss. I don't see it too often. I think I typically see the wall get finished off before tech choices start being made, but the Overlord does see it all. He does see the robotics facility, he does see the Twilight Council. Nothing was hidden, nothing was pushed away. His response to this, he's already expanded. What does he switch into? Does he decide to go Roach Tech? Does he stay on the Lings? Does he continue to macro up and make more decisions later? And this is actually some of the heaviest droning we've seen out of Tool so far. 5 more drones on the way. If he keeps this up, he'll heavily saturate. He'll saturate his bases faster than we've seen in any of his games so far. There goes the Roach Warren. He's decided that roaches are the play, at least mid-game. He can get out here with some Ravagers, maybe get some damage done. As 3 observers now coming out on the map. Mannix deciding that he really wants vision. He doesn't want to lose sight of what the Zerg is doing. This first one, let's go ahead and carry it over. His Lings begin to move across. This first one's going to come over here between the second and third base. First set of Lings coming over to get some poking done, but that's a lot of Adepts, and that's going to get pushed back very easy. Tool does not want to face the glaives that come out of there. And now Mannix getting across, sending the Shades forward. Fantastic job here now, getting onto the other side of the map. As long as he's over here, his opponent stays back at home. His opponent has to respond to him and what he's doing. First is over, getting into position, keeping an eye between the second and third bases here. Queen's being transferred over as they begin to spread some creep. The Adepts check in the 4th base location as the Overlord actually getting beat up by the Stalker. All right, Adepts sitting up here, waiting for their moment to come on in. Taking a quick look at what's going on, we have Pylon coming down behind the back base. Forge coming down here. He did get the Overlord as the Stalker sits there. And we have the Gateway explosion now. This is when the army forces, the army for Protoss really starts to mellow out and mellow out? Really starts to stabilize. And they have enough to handle any kind of push that might be coming. This is when they can start to move out and take a third base and secure it. Because right now, this Adept is the only thing that stands between, Mannix and the Ling flood that comes into this. Taking a quick look at what's going on for Tool, we have double evolution chamber. It looks like he's ramping up for Roach Ravager push. Saturated pretty well here. He's got 3 gases going. We should see an explosion in Roaches, and looks like a potential timing push coming soon. I'd say timing, a push. He'd really want to be knocking on the door right about now to really maximize the upgrade advantage. He's going to have for a little bit. We do have Zealot legs coming out. 4 Mannix here. Zealot legs going a long way towards increasing the overall DPS of the unit, giving them the ability to tank a little more damage, getting ahead of the curve. And we have an Immortal now Guarding the front door, he says, "You shall not pass, Zerg. Nothing shall get by me." And again, we have the Queen Army here, getting that creep spread. And we have, take a look, see if I can find all those observers. We got another Overlord going down here. Great snipe there by Mannix. Let's take a quick look and see if we can't find all the observers sitting around the map. So he's got one between the second and third base. He's got one on the pathway back to his third base, and he's got one, it's just going back and forth between those two, but there's one right here. So he sees the drone counts. He sees push-outs from the middle and the north. He's going to see this. Mannix now getting a little bit of warning here. He's got some adepts and some stalkers in position. And the way the armies are spread out, this is a very good engagement for Mannix, but he doesn't want to get too far ahead. Actually forces Tool to change his mind. He pulls back, reevaluating his options. We have the Overlord coming in here. The Overseer actually coming in here. Getting a good scout off, kind of seeing the middle of the base, getting a good idea of all the warp gates. The Templar archives going down here. So we should start seeing Storm hitting into the mix. A very important upgrade to deal with the mass flood of units that Zerg usually likes to throw into the game here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mannix further securing this third base. We saw at the game number 1, these defenses, these cannons, the shield batteries, they go a long way towards defending these bases, especially if a fight comes from the north. These shield batteries, they power up all the units of Mannix. It looks like we are getting a fourth base, about to finish up here for Tool. The Queen's maneuvering just off creep, hoping to do some expansion, knocking down some rocks, giving him some more flexibility and maneuverability in that area. Looks like this Overseer is going to get sniped here as Mannix continues to power up the tech tree, getting another forge, working on +2 weapons. Second robotics facility coming down. He's really, prepped and ready to start warping in a large number of units. Going back to the production tab, you can see we have Swarm Host entering the battlefield, +2/+2 finishing up. Such a powerful combination of +2/+2 at Roaches, Ravengers, the potential for future Hydralisk, and now Swarm Hosts. The free units that make this a great siege unit, and there are so many of them. Actually staying back on the defense as a handful of Lings actually run over to third base, meet the large portion of the Protoss army and decide that's not the fight they want to take. A couple of Archons and an Immortal actually finding themselves a little stretched out. All right, so the Swarm Host actually doing a preemptive siege way back here. What's the lifespan on these? I'm not sure how much damage they'll be able to throw down. It's more of a reveal of what's going on. Kind of watch them count down as looks like they're going to die as they fly over. And now he's got a little bit of a cooldown before these things are useful again. But I'd love to see some kind of play down here. How about the Swarm Host? Kind of split them up. It gets pretty difficult to do those, double maneuvers. But you can kind of see the range of what they're doing. You can see the Observer, wonderful position to spot this whole thing moving into position. Tearing down rocks gives the Swarm Host an excellent avenue of escape, multiple directions to fire from, and it makes this... actually, Swarm Host in an interestingly forward position. They do let their larva go, and all those units, see the free units for not free units being traded out. Archons going down, Zealots going down, and actually hit and run tactics here. Those aren't cheap units to replace. That's going to do a lot to put the burden of production. Nope, we had actually a Zealot run by. A couple Zealot run by. Sorry, I missed it. A couple Zealots coming up from the bottom, looking like they're doing some damage on the fourth base and the third base now, getting that base really low. As a couple Lings come in to try to stop it, but that base is forfeit, and that's a healthy mining base. It really puts a setback. I don't know if he lost any drones. Okay, it looks like he did get the drone pool. Most of the drones over here on the fourth base now, so kind of a transferring of drones, and we're starting to get the spine crawlers down now. That's going to go a long way towards securing at least this upper base, and we should start seeing, hopefully some more of that. That's some much higher level Zerg stuff, is actually getting some spine crawlers down to protect your base. Let's see. It says over here, John says, I think he hadn't expected the army to pull back so far. I was worried for them hosts for a second. Now, I was absolutely worried. These Swarm Hosts are a very powerful unit, but they need to be protected. Now, this wall, I'm surprised it's not it's not, he didn't commit to pulling that down, but these swarm hosts, they've been seen. They are so vulnerable, and Mannix knows they're there. Mannix goes in for the kill. He's right on top of him. The swarm hosts, the units, most of them, they're going to get away, maybe, but the rest of the army here being forced to come over here and try to defend this. Swarm host, again, in the open, and actually the Ravagers, Roaches, indecisive on whether or not they want to try to engage this. The swarm host now, finding protection. A couple of Zealots will finish off one of them, as the swarm hosts just make it out, losing only a couple of them. It's very precarious. He just doesn't know that this observer is here. This observer is money. Mannix putting out the obs, scouting the army, coming in with the run-bys. I mean, this is a Platinum 3 player who is just twisting Tool into knots here. Platinum 3, Diamond 2. He's running the gambit over here. He's doing Zealot run-bys. From this warp prism. He's got observers spotting the armies. He's sniping swarm hosts. I'm rooting for him. I'm feeling pretty good for my buddy Mannix here. As he's slowly closing the gap on supply, and we know that Roach Ravager's inefficient supply. It's easy to max out a warp prism. He's on top of this warp prism. He sees it pulling away. He spots it. It's in danger, and he's gonna get it away. I don't multitask this well. Mannix, you're on fire right now, dude. As a partial army of swarm hosts right up the middle, but you know what? He had the observer. He spots it. He gets over here with the immortals and the archons, puts a little damage on, forces them to pull back. Swarm hosts are tough to use, and it looks like this multitasking Tool's trying to add a layer of multitasking to his play here, and Mannix pulling him apart right now. All right. Tool, again, we saw this the first game. He's come back. He's uncomfortable. He doesn't like where he's at right now. So he's pulled his entire army back behind the spine crawlers. He's pushed his queen forward. He wants information. He wants creep. And we have another run-by. This run-by is going to pull the army down to the south. Maybe just, and there it is. He pulls them down to the south just in time as Zealots come in, cleaning up a little bit of creep. What do you do? Tool not doing a fantastic job of splitting there. He gets a swarm host. He does get a swarm host volley. That's a very dangerous fight. This is exactly where Tool wants to have this fight. This is not where Mannix wants to be. Slows down a storm, but this is a spine crawler wall. These are free units not free units, but free supply. So Mannix is going to pull back. He's got to find a better angle, and this is the angle. You pull the army in two directions. You're a couple of Zealots get a base. They get some spine crawlers. He's unable to get this economy really wrapped up. Now, taking a quick look around, what we are lacking is, there we go. Mannix now saying, I need a fourth base. I'm hampering his economy, but he's hampering his own economy by not expanding. So he's going to have to actually clean up this Overlord. The creep's going to take a moment to despawn. So it's going to be a while before he can put down a fourth base. He's done a decent job of keeping the game even, but he's got to put a push coming up here on the top now. So we might get into a base trade scenario. It's kind of both these armies are moving around, but the creep is going to show Tool that this army's coming in here, and he is fighting on this base. But it's looking like a base trade scenario. The armies are on completely different sides of the map. If Tool pulls back now, he gets no damage done, and he sacrifices the base. He just stops himself from immediately losing. And it looks like he's trying to split his army up to handle this in two situations. He's stalling. You can watch the blobs down here in the minimap. A little indecisive here as he leaves a small force of locusts down at the bottom, not even moving into the main base. And Mannix gets the fourth, and he comes over here. He sees the fifth. He can poke at this, and he can still escape here. And it looks like he knows his time is up. Poor Immortal left behind. No Protoss left behind, yeah? And Mannix is going to pull back. This back and forth poking and prodding strategy. Mannix is being very careful, very slow with this. And really fantastic execution here from our blue Protoss. Very dangerous plays here. If he can just get his economy secured, this is his game to lose. Tool, though, he's got the scary army. He's got to push it. He's got to find himself in a strong position, and he can actually take out this base. This is a very dangerous army. If you can get the swarm host in position, but fighting without the Swarm Host is fighting without a lot of your supply. So while he has the supply advantage, it is kind of tied up in units he may or may not be comfortable using. He puts down the Swarm Host, and it looks like he's going to back up right now. So we are getting a couple storms down. We're fighting with the Swarm Host, but now that they didn't attack at the same time, the Swarm Hosts aren't part of the army supply. The Protoss army is stronger now that the Swarm Hosts have expended their uses. It's kind of this weird. You either gotta use them to siege and poke and prod, or you gotta attack with the Locusts. So it looks like Tool's just having a little bit of time managing his army composition. He's got to dive in at the right moment. Izzy D says F2A move isn't that the only strategy. F2A move is about the complexity of my strategy as well. I feel your pain. I'm not trying not to be very judgmental at all. Bad caster habit of mine, guys. But now we have Colossus in the mix. We have Archons, we have Colossus, we have Immortal, we have some very, very scary units. We have 2 Colossus coming out at a time. Thermal Lance is being upgraded. On the other end, though, we have +3/+3/+3 coming out of the Zerg. Ranged, melee, armor, all of it. He's even getting, +1 flying or speed for the Overlords. He's getting Corruptors starting to come out on the board. Corruptors great in dealing with this Colossus mix. Down here, the Swarm Hosts, eating up a lot of supply, but Broodlords, I say Corruptors, but Broodlords, getting into the mix now. This becomes a Locust battle. This becomes a free unit exchange that Tool's kind of set up here, but Tool actually maneuvering in from the top. It looks like he's hoping to take an engagement, but the Locust, a round of Locusts, if he can back up and time his attack in with the Locust, he greatly limits the threat of the Protoss here. And I like what he's doing. He's minimizing the time that he has to engage him, and he's forcing a cancel out of this additional base. Now, Tool still has the base at the bottom, but both players now maxed out. This is the fight he's looking to take now. Mannix hoping to close this in. A lot of the army supply now tied up in these Locusts. The Broodlords really far forward. The storms going down, really setting the battlefield. Mannix dropping some massive storms, really heavily bruising everything. A couple biles come out, some stutter stepping macro, and it looks like the majority of Tool's army is starting to melt away. Now these Locusts should pop at any moment. Now, how many of these can he take before we get another round of Locusts? There it is. The heavily exposed free units. It's still actually melting away to the Colossus. Colossus doing a great job of handling this, but we are running out of things that shoot up to take care of all of the potential air units. No, we have Lynx coming forward. We have Lynx. We have Corruptors. Corruptors going to come in here, take care of the do a great job taking care of the Colossus. Not a lot to take care of them. Followed by a Ling push. The army of Mannix is in a very dangerous position here. Tool able to remax really well here, as what would look to be a push in Mannix's favor is suddenly turning. Unfortunately, Corruptors don't shoot down, but we still have the Locust sitting on the high ground. It's going to force Mannix to come down here, and he can deal with the threat down at the bottom. We have Zealots being morphed in to really handle the ground army. The Lings, the 52 Lings that were morphed in are already gone. They're off the board. They didn't have a chance to do any of the damage that I'm sure Tool wanted to do. It's back and forth. It's anybody's game. GG. Looks like Tool is tapping out. He has nothing to hit the ground. He runs it in, and Mannix takes game number 3, and takes the series. GG. An absolute fantastic ending to that game. Tool and Mannix in such a great back and forth. GG. Absolutely fantastic, boys. Wow. 1 second. Coffee. Now let's go ahead and start loading up series number 2 for Group B. It's going to take a minute, so I might as well get these buttons going. Wow, what a finish. I'm glad all of you tuned in so far to see this. Anybody just stepping in, we got another hour, and we're going to go right into the Pizza Pie. The Pizza Pie tournament number 1. This one, Matcherino link right here. With that link and the code PizzaPie1, all one word, PizzaPie1, you can add 50 cents to the prize pool. And we are up to $35.55 in Matcherino, up from an initial $10. Sponsors include Artosis, who threw down $10. The Zergberg for $1.20. Siegfried donating $1.15. And 29 Coast for 75 cents here. Top donors towards this tournament. We are doing some great things, and we hope to continue to do great pizza things all year leading up to the finals tournament in May. We're going to throw down, where I'm personally throwing down $250 into the prize pool. $250 prize pool plus a pizza. Just for y'all. You know, maybe for Star Killer, but maybe for you. Maybe you pull it out. All right. So series number 2 is Purge versus Exiled. We have the first map. It's going to be off of Blue Shift. So here we go. Hit this button. It's a PvP. I've seen both of you in this chat, so good luck to both of you as we get into game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, in this best of 3, starting off on Blue Shift, in the top right-hand corner, it's like the Blue Protoss. It is Exiled. His opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, in the dark green, the Protoss, representing all inspiration. It is Purge. The All-Invitational Season 15. Group B, Series 2. We're getting it in, boys. All right, looks like Purge kicking it right off. I don't know if you saw that. With a pylon in the back of his opponent's base, back of his opponent's natural, and a. Oh, let's get all of the things going again. A forge. We have a potential cannon rush coming down here as he puts down a pylon on the far corner of the map. This, of course, going to be spotted immediately by Exiled. And what's the plan here? You know, how does he finish this cannon rush? How does he spot this? Exiled, of course, then spotting the one on the low ground. Let me keep track of whose pylons are whose. So we got Purge's got a pylon over here. He's got a pylon right here. He's being chased by all the probes. If he loses this probe, it's the end. Puts down a cannon. That cannon can be taken care of by the Zealot and a couple of probes. Puts down a second cannon. And looks like he goes down now as the probe's focusing on the cannons. And that is the end of that push. There's a GG. Exiled takes game number 1. Man, if all the games are like that. No game audio? Okay. Let's see what we can do about that. I'll turn it up a little bit. It's just quiet. Okay, I can definitely fix in-game audio. Thanks for letting me know, guys. I just got to turn it up a bunch. And then turn it down for me. Alright, that's a lot. I've turned it up quite a bit. You let me know. Alright, game number 2. PvP. This one on automation. Much love, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure you guys, I hope you guys had a lot of fun playing these because I'm having a lot of fun watching them. Ladies and gentlemen, Automation Ellie spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, the light blue Protoss. It is Exiled. His opponent on the top right-hand corner, with the failed cannon rush, the green Protoss, Purge. All right, so we get that first pylon going down here, and first probe off. Is he off to scout or is he off to cheese? What's his Swiss count today? Is it cheddar? We'll see in just a moment here as first pylon finishes up. The next building dictates this probe's actions. We're looking at the green production tab in the top left-hand corner. And it looks like it's a gateway. Now it's a little bit slow, but it's a gateway. So we might get a full-on game this time, a full-length game as this probe comes in to scout. He's gonna get immediately attacked. This is what's paranoia right here. So says, nope, not again. I'm not playing this game. He's sacrificing 2 probes to chase Purge around here. Purge getting the pylon down, and actually might cause a little bit of a panic. Getting the cancel. It is a fake out here, as gets a nice wall off here. I do love watching the differences between like PvZ and PvP. Protoss have the most varied openings of any race. We watch the PvZ, the standards, we build here. All right, we build a wall, we secure a second base because, the Zerg's going to expand and they're going to outmaneuver us. But, Protoss, they build a wall up here in their main. They pull the cybernetics core, back a little bit, from the wall. Don't let it be absolutely vulnerable. They both expand a little slower because the threats are different. I do love that little bit. So how's the in-game sound, guys? Do we have a little bit better now? I was saying earlier, I know my headset plays it really loud, so I try to turn it down in my headset and not in the game, but... Alright. Taking a quick look around. It looks like first thing coming out of Exile, we have Stalker, we have Sentry, we have, Warp Gate. On the other end, we don't have any Warp Gate going, and we have a little bit of a supply block for Purge. This probe here for Exiled, kind of maneuvering around a little bit. He's got a little bit of a dance going. But it looks like Purge wants to hide something. Warp Gate starting a little bit slow here, as that Zealot gets that first swing on the probe. It's actually taking a lot of micro to handle this and deal with this. Purge, falling a little bit behind here, in worker count as he's, doing a little bit of micro. You see the 21 to 24 workers. Completely worth it at this point for Exile to play this game. First Stalker comes out, he's going to deal with that. And let's see what his plan is. Looks like we have a second Stalker coming out. Warp Gate's still going. The hidden tech, the next tech path hasn't been chosen yet. Or at least it hasn't been displayed here for Purge. Looks like we're getting another pylon down here to secure that. An expansion, though, out of Exile. He's dropping the robotics facility and a shield battery. He wants to secure this natural base. He's got actually 2 shield batteries coming. Where's the other one at? Yeah, right there in the natural. Opting for a much more slower play. Best way to get someone to start Warp Gate is say, we don't have Warp Gate going. That's fair. Best way for players to do anything is for me to predict the opposite. I found that to be a thing too. So we do have 3 gates here. We don't have any. I missed it. It's been standing here looking at me the whole time. Middle of the map. Purge here with the forward gateway. Of course, Warp Gate's going because he wants to pull out a very fast 4-gate. We have a 4-gate. I think he can spawn right on the other side of these rocks. We have a 4-gate Stalker push. It's going to be met, though, with a shield battery, Sentry, and his own Stalkers. And that's going to be a tough nut to crack here as he puts down even one more shield battery. We're dealing with what's up here? The Immortal about to come out. Oh, Exiled. I actually don't know. I'm like, no, don't do it. But this could probably be the exact move he needs to make here. Stalker's going to battle it out in the middle. Another round of Stalkers as we're gonna play this like who's got the most Stalkers battle. But this Immortal changes the game. That force field shaves off a Stalker. The shield batteries heal the Stalkers. Not much interest in long game series, huh? So now we have some Zealots into the mix, do a little bit of tanking, but he's shaving them off before most of the army gets a chance of fighting here. Shield battery and a little bit of micro here make this an easier fight. Actually, hanging out by the shield battery. This is a little bit of pressure, but what's going on behind this is there's not a lot of follow up, and there's a warp actually a robotics, a warp prism, excuse me, being called out right now. So curious on what he wants to do with this. Hopefully it doesn't run right to the stalkers here. I think he's got a plan for it. As he's starting to micro some workers here, and actually Purge getting boxed out, being forced to take a not as favorable fight here as the warp prism juggles some units. Exiled showing absolute just mastery here, saving some sentries at really low sentry, hanging out in the warp prism. He says, "Heal up, bro. I got you." And it does look like Purge is committed at this point. Nothing has been going on back home. He's put a lot of money into the offense, but then again, he could flip that switch again and try to pump out more. But he's actually committing some additional units to this. He's hoping to get something out of it to close out, peak a good event. If he can get a couple good kills, a good fight here, he goes a long way. And as he's trying to snipe this warp prism, lets Exiled get into a very good concave. The sentries even adding in their own damage here. He's using poor man's blink with the warp prism, and actually, taking out and chunking out a fair number of exiled units. The Immortal's not on the board right now. The one that was there. We have another Immortal out on the field. Another one in production. Some Adepts coming in. Adepts will handle some Zealots if we do some good target firing. The Immortal in a great position to dish out massive amounts of damage, trapping and shaving off some more Stalkers. This is GG. Exile takes game number 2 and the series, moving him on to the winners match, where he'll face Mannix. So let's take a quick look here. So Exiled moves forward. I'll just double check it and mess it up, right? Exiled and Purged, and yeah, that's the same match. Yep. So Exiled moves forward to face Mannix. Tool and Purge will move down into the elimination match. The winner of the winner match will move on. The winner of the elimination match will have to fight in the final match against the loser of the winners match. Right, GSL style. If you're unfamiliar with it, good game there. So we do have a little bit of time now. I can move on into group number C. So group number C finished Tech 4 and White Ninja. I don't know which game is game 1, 2, or 3. I hate to play them in the wrong order, so we're going to go right into Drumhead versus Missing No. Right into game number 1 here. This is a PVZ. We get another look at PVZ today. So we're going to hit that button, get right into this game. So we have another 43 minutes until the pizza pie. That's right, group number C. You heard me. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, and with lots of pinging going on, the pink Protoss. It is Drumhead. In the top left-hand corner, the purple Zerg. It is Ultralisk. If you don't know, Missing No is Ultralisk. It is his other handle. Missing No, a shout out to the original Pokemon Red and Blue, where the bugged out Pokemon Missing No was a thing. You could use it to hack out rare candies and other infinite items that helped, young Casey beat Pokemon. Now, a little bit about these two players. Drumhead definitely the favorite here, but Sean, or Ultralisk, is the wild card. He's the aggressive player. So I expect something cheeky to come out, maybe an aggressive Baneling bust or something, some kind of hard push there. Drum, I expect a solid macro game. He's a stronger player. He's got more to lose with a risky play. His solid play could easily trump something aggressive that Ultralisk tries to push in. But the aggressive play is probably Ultra's best chance here. A little bit of a cheeky good luck, have fun down there for the probe. Nice view on that. That's a fancy little stalker carving fire, hot fire into the creep spread there. Look at that, cheeky moves. only Ultralisk. 5 drones worth of mining time. I'm going to get your probe. It's done. Probe's gone. We can move on. Take a look down here. Hey, we see an expansion from the Zerg. We see it's not a 12 pool. We can expand. We can finish the wall a little slower. Was that a Colossus? I guess. I mean, it just looks so tiny. But you're right. That is a Colossus. Which, maybe a Colossus is just a big stalker. Meta. Alright, Stargate opening out of Drumhead here. See an Oracle or a Phoenix clear out the vision. Get rid of some Overlords. It should be spotted momentarily as this Overlord moves its way into the Protoss base. And Protoss moves out now. Drumhead moves out. Should be wrapping up this wall and moving on to his long game. Not a very colossal. We do have a Baneling nest coming out right up front. And it does look like Ultralisk is pulling Lings over to the corner. An attempt to maybe hide them. 4 Lings down here. Get right on top of this Adept. The Adept opting not to finish that shade. Sees the natural not hiding anything. He's getting a drone count, looking for maybe a Roach Warren or something behind it. He's going to cancel that shade, and he's going to cancel it. And I don't think he saw the Lings moving out, but we do have a potential Ling Flood Baneling bus coming up. We have a shield battery, which should go a good distance towards defending this. The Adept now moving backwards, finishes this shade. It puts him way out of the fight as he now sees a handful of Lings start to come in. What's the decision-making move here now? We have 2 Adepts at the front line. Some Banelings crashing right there go a long way. An Oracle also goes a long way if he can get some energy saved up and turn itself on at the right moment. It can do a lot to assist in a Ling Flood. Banelings busting right down the middle, and a sentry there saves the day. Another gateway being created almost immediately. Cybernetics core continuing, and now Sean Ultralisk moving back because an Adept here is that Adept who moved back and spotted Ling Flood said, "That's all right. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be nice and comfortable at home where you're not." And all this missed mining time, all this investment in Lings that may or may not go somewhere as the Lings actually pushing back at the front of the base here, spreading out their damage, getting a couple Bane hits in. Looks like we might lose the Cybernetics core. Cybernetics core goes down, but the Oracle's actually pushing away the Lings. Another Cybernetics core being built right here, kind of creating a Sim City wall. Ultra's trying to get as much damage done as possible. Holy Smiths, welcome to the chat. He says, "This is my build. Should have gone for the gateway." It's almost, you're throwing your face against the wall. You're trying to get the right kind of damage done and as much as possible. We got more gateways building. We have a Cybernetics core that finished its warp gate. Puts a lot of power back into Protoss's hands, and the more he commits to Lings and pushing him in here, I think the more dangerous position he's going to be in. I mean, there are 3 Oracles now here with relatively high amounts of energy remaining. A Ling Flood, a Baneling Bust doesn't do it anymore. The moment's gone, so behind this, Ultralisk needs to be macroing up, something he's already behind on. He needs more workers. He needs to take some risky expansions. He needs to use these Lings to defend those risky expansions. Take everything off of gas, put it into minerals, really focus on that. That poor drone just wanted to be a hatchery. He grew up with dreams of hatcheries and being able to produce and give birth to other larvae. The Oracle shut those dreams down. The Oracle's getting the Queen, getting all of the drones in the space, and looks like actually the Ultras tried to push in again, only be pushed away by another Oracle sitting in the main base. These Oracles coming home now, use their energy completely, looks like almost completely unscathed, just a little bit of bruising on this one. Be able to recharge your energy, come back for a second strike. Missing no, this is his, Drumhead, this is his game to lose. As it looks like, Drumhead wants to clear out that wall. Wants to reestablish his capacity to move in and out of his base now that the immediate danger is gone. Taking a quick look around, we do get a quick drone refresh. Great thing about the Zerg, he has some larvae saved up. You can make a great round of drones, but he doesn't have a lot to face down. Anything that's coming, right up his middle. Ultralisk in a precarious position here, actually opting for the Hydralisk Den. Dropping the minerals, dropping the gas. And I mean, interesting decision here. He's not fully saturated on 2 bases yet, but he's investing pretty heavily in gas. He wants to make a switch to Hydralisk, but I'm not sure if what he has supports that at the pace that he's going to need it to. He needs, from a perspective that sees everything, which is hard to do when you're playing the game. He needs some risky expansions. He needs to hope that Drumhead leaves him alone long enough to let him get back into the game. But right now he's down, more than half the supply. Drumhead has more than doubled his supply. Army supply 58 to 18, worker supply 54 to 31, and these oracles, there are so many of them, putting down so much damage. Melting lings, stopping worker production. Actually, I had to get out of there. There were 3 spore crawlers they sat on top of for just a little bit, not letting them sit back and get free kills. So excellent defense there. Couple overlords here in prime positions to spot any big movements, but Drumhead actually committing to a very large number of oracles while he kind of builds up and techs up in other areas. John says, my pizza just got out of the oven. PPBW starting a bit early for me. Need some coffee. Ugh, ran out. So I'm taking a quick look around. We have a nice Protoss ground army starting to build up here. Twilight Council, actually, and a forage at the 3rd base. He's comfortable, that he owns so much of the map now that Drumhead is putting things out on the main base. This Oracle army is gross. You don't really see this. He could probably turn the Oracles on and cancel that hatchery. That's how disgusting that is. And he's got a couple Hydros on the field, but nothing that an Oracle beam doesn't handle in these numbers. There are 4 of them out there pushing away. In conjunction with the Spore Crawlers, it's not something he wants to dive in on. He's got the lead. He can just sit here comfortably. Turning on, actually, 3 of them. Turns out it takes 3 Oracle beams to decrease the health of a building hatchery. And he gets the cancel, he gets the drone, he turns them off, and he gets to go home. So much energy on those Oracles. And that's not even the bulk of his force. He's got a winning force right here that could just walk across the map as he just kind of keeps Ultralisk down on 2 bases. Yeah, Holy Smiths, F10 in, brother. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Maybe he takes his time, you recollect yourself, you get your head back in the game, formulate a plan. So taking a quick look at what he's got on this side. Let's hit the units tab. It's going to be 16 Hydralisk and 18 Lings and 9 Banelings against the approaching army here, which is 25 Zealots and 15 Oracles. Even a Sentry now to try to even this out. Zealots with legs running into this. Actually, the bulk of the Ling Bane running to the corners, hoping to find some solace while hiding up there as everything just gets shredded. The beams are on and they're destroying hatcheries. GG. Drumhead takes game number 1. All right, I am starting to lose my voice, so if you'll give me 2 minutes, I'm going to go get some water, and we'll pick up with game number 2, which will take place on Kairos Junction. Oh, apparently I have to, I don't know why you streamed it. I don't know why your sub didn't show up. Give me a second. Streamlabs, you failed me. You failed my friends, Streamlabs. One second. Let's see what we got here. Recent events. Yeah, you didn't even show up in Streamlabs. Hey, Holy Smiths, thank you for the sub. I do appreciate it. I have some great friends here who show their love and support, and you are definitely one of them, man. With that being said, I will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Gotten some water. Got a couple crackers, which of course probably combats the usefulness of the water. But most importantly, and Holy Smiths, this one's for you. Make sure you still, yeah, all right. Make sure you're still hanging out. It came through, and I think I don't know if it popped up in the BRB screen, but thank you so much for the tier 1. I have the button now. It came in 3 minutes late. You're fantastic, man. It's great to have friends that can, show they support you. Rock the fuck on. I hit the button again. Ready? Bam! All right. Game number 2, Kairos Junction. Drumhead versus Missing No. And it's not an old replay, so we get to go right into it. Heck yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom right-hand corner of Kairos Junction, the Pink Protoss. Coming in fresh from his win on game number 1, it is Drumhead. His opponent on the opposite side of the map, which just so happens to be the top left-hand corner, the Purple Zerg, it is Missing No, aka Ultralisk. And I'll probably accidentally say Sean a few times. I don't think I even said Purple Protoss, which works until the Zerg is purple. So, Pink Protoss, Purple Zerg. A lot of P's going on right now in this game. So many P's. P's, can you give us a masterful game, P's? Pretty P's. Masterful game, a great game, good game. You have nothing but good games. You guys are fantastic. Again, shout out to Shazam Poof for putting all of this together. We still have 4 or 5 more people that we need to use the Pizza Pie code over at Matcherino. We have almost used all of our codes. Again, Pizza Pie 1 over there on Matcherino. We'll add in $2.5 more to the prize pool. It'll max out our Matcherino contribution. It's free money for that prize pool. If I keep drinking all this tea, I'll have some P's going on in this game too, says the way out is through. All right, so we got a very quick third base here. It's not even necessarily very quick. Zerg can get away with a third base on 20, but this was a third base before spawning pool. So, you know what? No, yeah, this was 3 hatch before pool. Excuse me, yeah, very greedy. Now, that being said, Drumhead knows it. How does he punish it? Well, first thing he does, he gets to complete his Nexus. But does he follow this up with something very aggressive? Can he punish it? Can he send a couple extra adepts over here to throw down some damage? I don't know. I don't think the first adept gets out fast enough to make that happen. Nope, and it's going to be a stalker too. His priority is going to be this Overlord, so it looks like he's going to allow a macro gam here. He's not going to push the issue. That Overlord coming down here, he wants to spot whatever this is. It's going to be a Twilight Council. Let's see if we can't get the. If we can't get that view. Does he get? He's really trying. All right, he is going to see the Twilight Council. He does know that it's coming. His response to this. Just to be prepared. Not a lot, not a very punishable move, especially when you went 3 hatch. The spawning pool's done. He's actually on double gas. Ultralisk is doing double gas. No speed right now, so he's going speedless. This could be speedless roaches. It's going to be, what building comes out next. He's opted for a spore crawler here at the third base, so it looks like he's feeling his mind went right to DTs. But it looks like it is going to be just a really fast Zealot leg, so we might get taking a look at the gas. Yeah, we might get a really fast, especially because he's putting this gateway down here. Zealot Immortal push. So that robotics facility pops out. A Warp Prism. Warp Prism comes in. We get a good gateway explosion. We get a healthy number of gateways to start. But I expect a whole bunch of gateways coming out of here and just really fast. And that's how you punish it. You got to get in there and throw down some damage really quickly. The Roach Warren in position to layer, 1/3 of the way morphing here. Just one Spore Crawler down here in the third base. All right. More. So I'm expecting some gateways here. There's actually the Dark Shrine. All right. So Sean's intuition. The Dark Shrine is down. That gives us potential DT play. That gives us morphing into Archons. A little bit of a sixth sense there from one chooser to the next. Looks like Observer, the first one out on the board, and we're gonna get a handful of Zealots out. So not the gateway explosion of Zealots. It looks like a normal, opening. Nothing crazy. He's gonna send some Zealots up here to try to put some pressure on the third base. Keep the pressure on the Zerg. You really have to keep the pressure on the Zerg when they do this. You can't let them macro up. Now, having gone to the third base really quickly, we have so far seen a shift away from macro. We don't have a fully saturated second base. We don't have any drones down here on the third base. Now, that he has some units that might be able to respond up here, but he actually had morphed them into Ravagers at just the wrong moment. This Roach trying to get away as a couple Zealots give chase, gets rid of the Spore Crawler, and here come the DTs. Anything that observes, there's a Spore Crawler in the natural, so these DTs aren't going to have a complete run of things, but they are on the board now. They're on the board. They're in play. Actually, the Observer just out of the range of Spore Crawler, can't be seen. We don't have any Overlords being morphed. We do have a layer. We have the capacity for detection, mobile detection, but we do have these Archons now being pulled in, and it looks like we're gonna get treated to some nice Archon drop play, and there goes that Overseer. Now they're gonna push away the Observer, and we're gonna get some visibility down here. All right, Nexus going down here for Drumhead. Taking a nice stroll along this map. We see we resecured that third base. So actually missing no, put down the third base. He took 3 hatch before pool. Didn't saturate it. Went Roach heavy, which may or may not have used all the larvae, and then lost it. So it's been a 3 hatch with none of the upsides and all the downsides. I take that back. None of the downsides, really. He didn't face a lot of pressure that would have made a late spawning pool matter. But now he is facing 2 Archons, so trying to put some pressure on that. Trying to put some pressure on that Overseer, which is a signal, right? You go, hey, you want my Overseer? I'm going to make more of them. I know that you don't want me to detect something. That Dark Shrine sense here. Following Ultralisk, because he actually starts to maneuver. If he continued to push, that's not nothing. That is not a not scary army. Sitting here, Roach Ravager. This is actually probably the exact amount you want knocking on a door. If you can target fire a couple of Immortals, you can get maybe a couple pylons back here that are producing them. But, really the Immortal count is going to start skyrocketing for every second that Ultralisk is on the other side of the map. And this is a very good defensible position, especially when we have all the Immortals and the Archons on the board. This Archon Warp Prism drop play coming up here to the main base. Looking to get some damage done. Looking to be a little cheeky. Now, we do have a Spire going down now. Interesting transition out of here. Roach Ravager into Spire. We don't have any upgrades on the board for either player. So he's not overly committed to a Roach Ravager army. But this, I believe that was spotted. That was absolutely spotted. As long as he was paying attention, he knows a Spire is coming. Now, that will push away a Warp Prism. It will do a lot against this, mass Immortal. He's got to have to shift into some Archons really soon. If he's going to play the whole gambit of possibilities that, Ultralisk can start pushing out. Now, taking a look at the supply count, it's really close overall, but the worker count, there's a significant difference there on the board. And he's trying to get that third base up, but, the more Archons down here now, giving him a little bit of trouble. But just a tease, plenty to handle it. Ultralisk comes down here with Roach Ravager, pushes it away nice and gently. as Drumhead and this Warp Prism continue to cycle around. And if anything, what this is doing is keeping the Zerg on his side, keeping the Zerg honest, not letting him just drone up freely. He's got to split his units, right? There's no concentrated push coming across the map. It's splitting his attention. It's overtasking his multitasking ability. He sees Roach Ravager, waiting for him in this corner, so he maneuvers around. But back home, as long as you can keep up with your macro, as long as you keep up with unit production, hey, that's a good way to spend your energy. He's securing this third base. I'd say energy, attention span. Attention is a resource, right? As long as you can afford it, as long as you're flexible enough to do it. We're actually piling some Phoenixes back here out of a single starport, finishing up a Templar Archives, and coming in again with these Archons, pushing back any creep spread. Ooh, getting a couple drones for trouble, and nothing really fast to respond here. The Roach Ravager from the top here coming down. Going to push that away before it can get any final damage done. Excuse me. Ugh. Not fast enough to hit a mute button on that one. Pierre says, when does the Wikipedia page get updated with the scores for these games that just got casted? That's a good question for Shazam. I think he's really on top of this stuff. He's really focused on the Pizza Pie right now, so we'll probably see these later this afternoon while the Pizza Pie is being casted. I imagine he'll get right in there and update the Wikipedia page for these games. The Way Out is 3 says, my problem is I never remember to spend my attention resource fast enough. That's funny. Oh, down here. Yep, there's my attention resource. Cakes an Overlord out and has a disgustingly large Immortal push coming out of this. Phoenixes here are going to take care of anything, any vision on the high ground is going to take care of these Mutas. The Muta is actually opting to move across the map to try to get some damage done on the other side. I love that. I love the, try to pull the multitasker apart here. He's going to lose his third base. He's going to lose his fourth base. We do have a couple of photon cannons that will put some damage down, but this isn't necessarily a lot. But here go the Phoenixes. Now the Phoenixes are in play. The Phoenixes will take care of these Mutas. We are going to lose a couple drones to this fight as it looks like he's trying to focus fire him down, but the Mutas completely cleaned up. And on this side of the map, Sutter stepping in with the Immortal, Archon, Sentry, Zealot, completely throwing down massive amounts of damage, dodging the Biles here. Actually, we're down to almost entirely Immortal Archon, one Stubborn Stalker in that mix here, as some of the fire being sent into the Overseer there, pushing it away. There's the GG. Ultralist taps out, and game number 3 goes to Drumhead. All right, let me... game number 2 goes to Drumhead, so game number 3... fake game. All right, so here's what we have coming. We have Pizza Pie Season 1, Tournament 1, about to come up. As soon as we can get, as soon as I can get confirmation that we get Colt's stream up, we'll send y'all right over there. So I'll tell you, thanks everybody for hanging out for this. This is what we call All-In's premier StarCraft tournament. This is our GSL. This is where we put our best foot forward, and we're hoping to get some good high quality stuff out of both our production for you. What we have coming up next is our community event. Right, so we have our premier tournament, our GSL, and now we're our outreach, right? And this is the Pizza Pie. If you haven't signed up or you're interested in playing, please do. Groups B and C aren't done. So what's going on is groups here. I'll talk through it real quick because I have time. Let me just Darren, ready to send them over. Go live soon. All right, so here's what's happened so far. So Group B, we have done the initial matches. So this is Series 1, Series 2, Tool and Maddox, Purge, and Exiled. We haven't peeked into the winners match yet, and we've done the finals match. My hope is to do Series 1 and 2 for Groups A through D all at once, and then next week do the winners match for Groups A through D, and just kind of stay on top of it. And then the finals and elimination match, well, How's that work? So the winners match and the losers match for each of these next week, and then the elimination match the week after, because we have 3 weeks for the All-Invitational. So what's been casted for Group B is 1 and 2, and we go over to Group C. We've only gotten number 2, so White Ninja and Tech 4. I have not dove into those games yet, because we are right up on the pizza pie. So as soon as Colt goes live and we find a good moment, we're going to send you guys over there. I'm going to jump in with him, and we're going to cast that. So yes, part of a part. What I don't want to happen is, like last year, I got behind, and suddenly I had like 100 games to cast. And we were kind of, it didn't get done. I don't want to give you guys that kind of production value again. So staying on top of the stuff. Thank you so much for being here. Let me take a look over now. I think he's getting ready to go soon. So, whoo, y'all have shown me some good stuff. It really is a lot of fun. I said, yeah, that's a lot. If you need help casting, I can volunteer sometime. Yeah, I'm always up for a co-caster. And I tell you, as long as you're available, when I'm available, I'll start pinging people in all in for co-casters. It does make the job a little easier, just to have somebody to share the breathing time with. Because I had to get some water, because you're just gonna start losing your voice. You keep talking. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you. Definitely reach out to you and anybody else who wants to co-cast with me. The only problem we had with, I think last time we tried to let everybody cast some games, it just was a little disorganized because people were casting like one game at a time, and we weren't knocking things out in some kind of orderly manner. So it became a little unorganized. So I'm just buckling down and doing them all. That's what I like to do anyway. So weekends are generally pretty good for me. Good. Sundays. So I'm looking to do this Sunday. If you're available about 2 hours ago, that's when I start doing these, because I want to build these into the pizza pie. I want to build our GSL tournament into our top tier tournament into our community tournament. I want them to feed into each other. If we can do that, we're building All In. Essentially, these are both things that should help All In grow and just be the best community amateur team that we can be. And it's really great, because that's what Shazam is really. He's put in a lot of effort, a lot of work into this stuff. I just get here and I get to watch StarCraft and talk about it. I tell you, I got the easy job. Hours every day. He is like editing Wikipedia pages. He's sorting through replays. He's making connections to make all this stuff fantastic for y'all. Rip Fizben's time slot. Does he normally stream about 2 p.m. Pacific? Is that his go-to? John says I should learn the meta somewhat so I can do some co-cast. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you don't even have to know it that well, honestly. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to pick up my game so I can be that better technical caster. But a lot of times, you're describing what people are doing. You're describing stuff as you see it. You're getting a big view on it. You just try to avoid doing too much predicting, because that gets me in trouble. I think this is mutas, and it's just corruptors, and I'm wrong, and I just look silly. Yeah, for the omelet. Okay. Yeah, because all in players always stick to the meta. There's definitely some things y'all do that everybody does. Right? Yeah. But, learning the players, learning you guys, and learning kind of what your go-to responses are, I think that helps. Fizben to trick today. Well, I always stream Sunday evenings at 11 p.m. Central, but of course I will postpone it. Dude, Fizz, man. That's something. Well, I appreciate it. I hope I'm not I don't want to bring you into shit content. If other All-In members are, I'm stepping on them, I hope that I'll put some good stuff out for you if that's going to happen. And this is, I haven't decided what I'm going to do during the, no, I actually know what I'm going to do during the off weeks, because while the All-Invitational is going, I have to do this every week. So next week we won't have the pizza pie, but we will still have the All-In. The All-Invitational stuff still has to get done, or the backlog's just going to become become too big. Shout out to Fizbin. Day 9 used to say, if you mispredict something, just say, surprising even me. You know, Day 9, master of positivity. And that there's some huge lessons to take from just him and being positive. One of the things I stole from him, and I teach my students now, is his don't say sorry, say thank you. He used to say, if you relate to something, if you want to be positive about it, you don't say, sorry I was late. You say, thank you for your patience. And that's supposed to be a little shortcut into maintaining positivity. Where am I at now? I got 5 minutes. All right. Well, the stream is up, guys. You have all been nice. Duddle's missing no. Duddle has a missing no. No way. All right, that's cool. Y'all are showing me all these people I need to like sub to so I can see all their icons. But Duddle is probably completely worth supporting. I'd say I shouldn't be paying $5 a month for Twitch icons, but I could pay $5 a month for Duddles. Archer students, future officers, on time is when they get there. That's fair, but you're not always correct. A lot of times, you got to accept that you made a mistake, whether it's being late or having the wrong answer, making a bad decision, and just having that positivity and being able to spin it is what I teach them. Duddle says, well, that's a tier 3, so please don't sub to me. Oh shit. Oh, fair enough. I'm hesitant. I'm going to send you over to Pizza Pie in a moment. It's up. But right now, I'm enjoying talking to you guys, and I'd feel bad sending you to a waiting screen. But at some point, I will have to jump in with Colt and let him line up my video feed for this thing. Man, this should be fantastic. We've been promoting the Pizza Pie for as heavy as we've ever done it now for 3-4 weeks. We've had some downtime, conversations with the Pylon co-producer. Duddles came in and gave us an opportunity to talk about it. We've been posting on Reddit, although if I check Reddit, I think it didn't get approved. I think it's waiting for moderators to touch it. Touch my post, moderators. Yes, yeah, it looks like it was hiding. It's hiding in StarCraft. It never saw the light of day. I'm learning how to tweet. Let's tweet some stuff. But I'm rambling at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm gonna go hit the raid button. Now, after the Pizza Pie, stay tuned because we will go back. We'll do the last match of Group D. Excuse me, Group C, the Tech 4 match in White Ninja, and I'll check Groups A and B, and if there's anything left there, I'm gonna knock those out too. So don't vanish. I'm gonna poke Colt and be like, raid me back. So let's go ahead and hit these buttons. Oh, let me make sure I spell that right so I don't send you to some random ass person. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It has been invalid username, so apparently I almost did send you to the wrong person. TTs. It's been great. Thanks for hanging out. Be nice to Colt for me, guys. Do 10 viewers ready to raid. Awesome. Yeah, me too. Absolutely.